Hello, this is Ubuntu Gicha. You may encounter applications that do not support installation via official repositories and require you to install them directly using DEB files or Portable AppImage executables. When using applications in this manner, the application icon may not display correctly. The file associated with the MIME type used by the application may not be linked, or the icon for that MIME type may not be displayed properly. Applications executed via AppImage must be added to the Applications menu manually. In this session, I will explain how to configure the application to resolve these issues. I will use an application called Hop for this explanation. Hop is an application that allows you to use Hancom's Hangul for free on Linux. While it is somewhat useful for Korean users, you may encounter all the situations mentioned above. Even with other applications, this will be helpful in resolving similar situations. Although Hop does not yet support an official installation repository for Linux environments, it supports DEB, RPM, and AppImage files. Ubuntu users can download the DEB or AppImage file. Since running Hop with AppImage does not support Hangul input, it is recommended to download and install the DEB file. However, to cover the settings required when not installing via the official repository, I will download the AppImage file as well as the DEB file. I will start by explaining the settings for the Portable AppImage file. I will launch terminal in the current directory. To run the AppImage file, you must grant execute permissions. Now, you can run Hop by double-clicking it with the mouse in Nautilus. Since navigating to Nautilus to run it is cumbersome, I will run it directly from the terminal where I am currently working. Although AppImage is a portable executable file, Hop is a document editing application. Since it is more convenient to use it associated with a file of the corresponding MIME type, it is recommended to fix it to a specific path and add it to the application menu. I will download the application icon from the official Hop website. You can download the SVG file. To add it to the application menu, I will move the AppImage file to a fixed path and register the SVG file as the app icon. Icon files are managed in the /usr/share/icons path in the home directory /.local/share/icons path. /usr/share/icons is a path for all system users and is suitable for managing default icons, whereas home directory /.local/share/icons is a path for the currently logged in user only and is suitable for managing custom icons. Since there is no icons directory in home directory /.local/share, I will create it and continue working. Icons are organized into directories by theme. Highcolor is the standard system-wide fallback icon theme directory for the Linux desktop. Since application icon files are SVG files, I will move them to the scalable directory. I will update the icon caches. Although AppImage is a portable executable, I will fix it to a specific path to add it to the Applications menu. While the system standard storage path for executables for all system users is /opt, it is better to manage user-specific applications under the home directory. In Mac OS, it is common to manage applications in the Applications directory under the home directory. While many people use this directory in Linux as well, I personally do not prefer having cluttered files and directories in the home directory, so I will use home directory /.local/bin. Files starting with the dot are hidden files, so they are hidden by default when viewed with tools like Nautilus. I will also create the desktop file in a path intended only for the currently logged in user. You must set the type to application for it to appear in the Applications menu. When installing Hop as a DEB file, the name is set to Hop. To distinguish it from this, I will set a longer name. I will set the executable file. Since it has been registered as an app icon, you can simply enter the name without a path. I will set the MIME types associated with hop. Hop is visible in the Applications menu. It appears with the long name set in the name field. I will run hop from the Applications menu. Although the icon appeared correctly in the Applications menu, the execution icon in the dock displays the AppImage icon itself, rather than the icon I set. You need to additionally configure that the application set in the desktop file from the AppImage is a different application. Hancom's Hangul uses HWP and HWPX extensions for document files. HWP is already set as the default Linux MIME type, but HWPX is not, since it is a compressed zip format. The icon corresponding to a zip file is displayed. I will open an HWP file as hop in Nautilus. If you click Open with in the context menu, you will see a variety of available applications. However, hop is not listed. As a workaround, I will drag the HWP file into hop to open it. Thanks to hop, it is now possible to use HWP and HWPX document files on Linux as well. I will improve the issue where the application launch icon appears as an AppImage icon rather than a hop icon, and the inability to associate HWP files. In the X Windows system, the attribute that identifies the windows of a running application is the WM class. You can find the hop's WM class using xprop. After running xprop, you can find the WM class by clicking on the corresponding window. The WM class of hop is hop.desktop. Alternatively, you can open the command prompt using the Alt F2 shortcut and type LG to view detailed window information for running applications. Clicking the Windows tab displays detailed information about the running windows. You can also check the hop's WM class. I will press ESC to exit. I will open the desktop file. I will set the hop's WM class to the startup WM class. To associate files of MIME types used by the application, you must add the %f option to the exec settings. I will open the HWP file again as a hop in Nautilus. I will click Open with from the context menu. Now hop is visible. If you check Always Use for this file type, you can open the file with a single double click. However, since I am removing it to reinstall it as a DEB file, I will just open it. The application launch icon in the dock now displays the hop icon correctly. You can also open HWPX files as hop in Nautilus. Since HWPX is not set as a default Linux MIME type and is a compressed zip format, the icon corresponding to a zip file is displayed instead of the icon corresponding to an HWPX file. I will explain how to register a custom MIME type after installing hop as a DEB installation file. To remove the hop running via AppImage from the Applications menu, I will delete the desktop file. Hop has disappeared from the Applications menu. I will install hop using the DEB file. Double-clicking the downloaded DEB file launches the App Center. Since installing packages from outside the App Center may be unsafe, a message appears asking you to verify trust before proceeding. I will click the Install button. A confirmation window appears again asking if the package is trusted. If you are using an application that associates with specific MIME types, such as a document editing application, adding it to the applications menu is useful. Therefore, I recommend installing and using the DEB file rather than the AppImage portable executable. When you install using the DEB file, a desktop file is automatically created and added to the applications menu. When you install hop using the DEB file, hop is set as the default application for HWP files. For HWPX files, hop is not set as the default application. Since the HWPX file's MIME type is not registered, it is recognized as a zip compression format, and extraction is set as the default application. I will click Open With from the context menu. Hop is not visible. This is because the %f option is missing from the exec settings of the desktop file. I will open the desktop file. You must add the %f option to the exec settings for it to appear in the available application list under the Open With menu. I will open the HWPX file again as a hop in Nautilus. I will click Open With from the context menu. Now, hop is visible in the available application list. I will check Always Use for this file type to set it as the default application. Hop can open HWPX files as well as HWP files, but at the time of video recording, saving is limited to HWP only. Although HWPX files can now be opened with hop, they are recognized as having an application zip MIME type, so they are displayed with unwanted icons. I will register the MIME type for HWPX files. I need image files tailored to different sizes. I will download a compressed archive containing pre-prepared image files. I will download the archive uploaded to the public repository on GitHub using wget. I will extract the downloaded file. I have compressed not only the icons for the HWPX file extension used by hop, but also the icons for the MLT file extension used by Shotcut. When Shotcut is installed, the MLT MIME type is not automatically registered, so I will register it together with this step. I will move the custom icon files to the HighColor theme under home directory /.local/share/icons. I will move the extracted files. The MIME type images have been organized by size. I will update the icon caches. The directory for registering and managing MIMEs is MIME. Since the MIME directory does not exist, I will create it and continue working. The user-specific location for defining new MIME types is home directory /.local/share/mime/packages. While you could create separate XML files for each MIME type, I personally prefer managing them in a single file to keep track of all MIME types at a glance. To demonstrate that it is possible to define multiple MIME types in a single XML file, I will define MLT along with HWPX. I will install the user-specific MIME. I will update the MIME database. MIME-related files will be generated automatically. I will open the types file. The added user-defined MIME types are visible. Let's view the directory containing the HWPX files using Nautilus. If you refresh, the icons for HWPX files will now appear as icons corresponding to the MIME type. Since I have set hop as the default application for HWPX files, you can open them directly in hop with just a double click. I covered how to install and configure desktop applications that do not support installation via a repository. The application that serves as the foundation for hop is our HWP. Our HWP provides an online demo as a web application. Desktop applications must be created and distributed separately for each OS, and users also need to go through an installation process. In contrast, web applications can be distributed via a single site, and users do not need to download or install them separately. They offer the convenience of being accessible via a web browser regardless of the user environment. Web applications also have the advantage of not requiring users to perform updates individually. For this reason, nowadays, it is common to distribute applications exclusively as web applications. Of course, since web applications run on top of the web browser's layout, unnecessary space is added from an application perspective. Desktop applications have the advantage of being easily found and launched via icons in the dock or applications menu. Web browsers like Chrome allow you to install web applications as desktop applications. While launch icons for desktop applications installed from web applications appear on the desktop, Ubuntu does not allow launching directly from the desktop icon for security reasons. Although enabling execution would make this possible, I prefer a minimalist aesthetic and do not like having a cluttered array of icons on the desktop. I will remove it. It is now added to the applications menu and can be easily launched by clicking the icon. It is also possible to pin it to the dock. Since our HWP is a web application, document files can only be accessed via the Open File menu. They cannot be opened using Open With from the context menu in Nautilus. However, it is possible to open document files by dragging them into our HWP. Depending on the application, special fonts may be required. This is especially true for document editing applications. Hancom's Hangul used to use the human font as its default, but recently the default font has changed to Hamchorum. In other words, the fonts primarily used in HWP and HWPX documents are either the human font or the Hamchorum font. The Hamchorum font can only be downloaded from the Hancom website when the language is set to Korean. Since the human font is paid, I will use the human font that I own personally. I have prepared the human font I personally own in the fonts directory. I will also extract the compressed file containing the downloaded Hamchorum fonts into the fonts directory. Directories for the Hamchorum fonts and human fonts have now been prepared. There are also management paths for font files, including a path for all system users and a user-specific path. It is common practice to manage fonts in the path for all system users. I will create directories for Hamchorum fonts and human fonts in the path /usr/share/fonts/truetype. I will copy the font files to the newly created directories. I will update the font caches. Thank you for watching.